Q&A Review, print speaking to the blind, celebrating 40 years of audio newspaper production. Welcome to this week's edition of the Kirkintilloch Herald podcast, recorded at the Bishopbriggs Media Centre by our amazing volunteers. You can get in touch with us via Facebook, Twitter or Instagram using @Q&A Review. That is @CUEANDREVIEW. You can also contact us directly by emailing information@QNreview.com. That is INFORMATION @CUEANDREVIEW.com, or by calling 0141 772 3976. That's 0141 772 3976.
New complex is set to open. A new community sports facility will soon be available to local groups, offering people of all ages opportunities to train and play. It has been announced that the lease of the Kirkintilloch Community Sports Complex has been concluded with Kirkintilloch Community Sports Club, a Scottish registered charity which includes representatives from local sports organisations. Eastern Bartonshire Council has created the new facility on a previously derelict brownfield site to the west of Park Burn in the South Bank area of the town. The complex includes a full-size, artificial 3G sports pitch with floodlighting offering 7-a-side pitches, main stand and VIP stand spectator seating, pavilion building including changing facilities, cafe space and toilets, car parking including electric car charging points and covered bike stands. Kirkintilloch Community Sports Club will be operating the facility, including providing a minimum of 100 hours of community benefit every year, along with some time set aside each week for local school use. There will also be an opportunity for other local sports and community organisations to book the facility. Councillor Gordon Lowe, leader of Eastern Bartonshire Council, said, "We're pleased that we're now in a position to confirm that the new Kirkintilloch Community Sports Complex is leased to a local organisation, Kirkintilloch Community Sports Club. Kirkintilloch Community Sports Club will work with local groups and schools and will let out the facility. It has also been agreed that 100 hours each year will be put aside for community benefit and council services. We'll work alongside the Kirkintilloch Community Sports Club to support this." Kirkintilloch Community Sports Complex represents a significant capital investment by the council, supported by the Scottish Government's Vacant and Derelict Land Investment Programme, which aims to encourage and enable people of all ages to enjoy sport and healthy activities. Jim Gilmore, chairman of Kirkintilloch Community Sports Club, said, "On behalf of the trustees of the Kirkintilloch Community Sports Club charity, which was set up in 2013, I would like to thank Eastern Bartonshire Council and the elected members for their cross-party support while this project was being developed. I am pleased to sign this lease for 25 years between the charity and the council. This new sports facility will be run for the benefit of the community, bringing health, well-being and economic benefits to the area. I am delighted that the wider communities of all ages and abilities will benefit. I also want to take this opportunity to thank everyone who has supported the charity over the years to make the dream of a new community sports facility in Kirkintilloch come true. The facility was built by Robertson Construction through the Major Works of Scotland and Construction Framework, provided by Scape Scotland, a public sector owned procurement specialist. During construction, small local enterprises were used to keep employment in the area and boost the local economy. The complex was developed on a vacant brownfield development site to the west of Park Burn in Kirkintilloch, close to the council's office campus in the South Bank area of the town. The council funded the £5 million plus development as part of their local outcomes improvement plan, with the idea of providing local schools and community organisations with improved facilities. It is expected the project will benefit the well-being of the community. And that article was read by me, Ian McKenna. This week in history. May 25th, 1986. Bob Geldof's Race Against Time had 30 million people worldwide running for sport aid to raise money for the starving in Africa. On this day last year, Oprah Winfrey said Tina Turner was our forever goddess of rock and roll and hailed her courage as a domestic abuse survivor following the singer's death the day before, aged 83. May 26, 1969, John Lennon and Yoko Ono began a bed-in for world peace in a Montreal hotel. On this day last year, a one-of-a-kind life-size Lego model of the luxury Ferrari Daytona SP3 sports car was unveiled at Legoland Windsor to celebrate the launch of the resort's new attraction. May 27, 1941, the German battleship Bismarck was sunk. May 28, 1934, the first Glyndebourne Festival of Opera opened with Mozart's Figaro. On this day last year, UK astrophysicist Dr. Joanne Pledger identified a star that exploded 21 million light years away. May 29th, 1982, Pope John Paul II became the first pope in 450 years to step onto British soil and the first to pray side by side with the Archbishop of Canterbury in the Canterbury Cathedral. On this day last year, a silver-plated pencil purported to have belonged to Adolf Hitler was set to go under the hammer in Belfast. Updated licence for golf club. An Eastern Bartonshire golf club has been granted an update to its licensing rules. Hilton Park Golf Club applied to the licensing board seeking a new closing time on Saturday of 1 p.m, along with permission to host various events such as performances, gaming events such as race nights and film screenings. It also requested an amendment regarding children, which would allow them to remain on the premises until 10 p.m, 10:30 p.m, depending on whether they were accompanied, or until the end of any private function they were attending. The Health and Social Care Partnership objected to some of the points concerning children, saying they contravened the Protecting Children and Young People from Harm licensing objective. The club's representatives told the board that the venue was well run, with separate areas where young people could safely relax, and some golf events saw play until 10:30 p.m. Children involved in these events often needed to visit the clubhouse to get changed or put clubs back in lockers, or to wait for their parents to collect them under supervision of staff. Following some discussion over specific wording of some aspects of the application regarding the accompaniment of children, an amended version of the application which allowed junior members or children accompanied by junior members to be present on site until 10:30 p.m. or the end of a private function was approved. The club is also promoting a Tartan Day as part of their celebration for this summer's Euros. Scotland will open the tournament against hosts Germany on Friday, June the 14th, and the club wants to mark the occasion with a celebration. A day of golf, dinner, and a football viewing party is being proposed, dependent on interest levels. Taking to social media, the club posted, "If we get enough interest, we can have a shotgun start at about 2 p.m, dinner for 6 p.m-ish, and then spend the night supporting the lads. Scotland kit or kilt will be expected on the golf course, with everyone welcome to take part. We will be showing the game in the clubhouse. Scotland flags and scarf will be decked around the club. If you have your own, bring them along. Anyone interested should email or text the club ASAP."
Fewer dentists working than before the pandemic, as recorded by Hunter MacDonald. Figures obtained by the Scottish Liberal Democrats have shown there has been no recovery in the number of dentists carrying out NHS work in Greater Glasgow and Clyde since the pandemic. The number of dentists claiming funding from NHS Greater Glasgow and Clyde for carrying out work was 884 in 2019-20, but figures obtained for the 2023-24 financial year showed the current figure is only 848. Now the Lib Dems have called for action. General election candidate for Mid-Dumbartonshire Susan Murray said, "Accessing NHS dentistry is a major concern for people in East Dumbartonshire. Local people have been hit by practice closures, other practices going private, and periods when it is impossible to find local practices taking on new NHS patients." She added, "Too many are forced to turn to private dentistry or put off treatment if they cannot afford to get work done. This is completely unacceptable." The SNP has been absent in the face of this crisis and have rowed back on their manifesto promise to abolish dental charges. The Scottish Liberal Democrats have raised this repeatedly in Parliament and have set out plans that would deliver quality, accessible dentistry in every community. The Scottish Government needs to rewrite their failed NHS recovery plan, prioritise workforce planning and boost the number of dentists taking on NHS patients. Community Hub is praised as a great idea by MSP. Local MSP Rona Mackay has praised the work of volunteers at a new hub at Lennoxtown run by the community for the community. The Hive, based at Lennoxtown Enterprise Centre, aims to deliver a range of services to the local community, from a food pantry and well-being workshops to cookery demonstrations and exercise classes. There is also a warm space for local people to simply meet for a cup of tea and a chat, and a games room upstairs for local youngsters. The Hive can be used too for local group meetings for activities, children's parties or events, and seasonal celebrations. Miss Mackay, SNP MSP for Strathkelvin and Bearsden, was invited to the recent opening day of the new hub, where she met volunteers including Susan Cairns and Sandra Meehan, two of the driving forces behind the Hive. Miss Mackay said it was brilliant to meet all the fantastic local volunteers at the Hive's busy open day at Lennoxtown. What a welcoming bunch. The turnout at the open day demonstrated the enthusiasm for this type of community facility in the area. It's a great idea and I am sure the Hive will go from strength to strength. Councillor for Bishopbriggs and Campsie, Paul Ferretti, added, "The Hive is a local facility being run by the community for the community, and we want as many voices involved at the beginning as possible. More volunteers are needed to join. Anyone interested can find out more by emailing thehivecommunity22@gmail.com.
Staff walk for charity. The cardiology teams from hospitals serving East Dumbartonshire have raised thousands for British Heart Foundation charity after taking part in this year's Kilt Walk. Kilt Walk is Scotland's largest mass participation walking event, with almost 150,000 people taking part since 2016. And this year it had a team made up of staff from both the Glasgow Royal Infirmary and Stop Hill hospitals. This year's event took place on Sunday, April the 28th, between Glasgow and Ballach, with the cardiology team taking on the mammoth 23-mile trek and raising more than £3,100. The team, made up of 14 cardiac technicians and 6 friends, joined the mass crowds in a bid to raise awareness of heart health. Team leader David Morrison, assistant physiologist at Stop Hill, said, "It was a great event and even better that we were able to raise money for the British Heart Foundation. Heart and circulatory diseases are the world's biggest killers, and as healthcare professionals specialising in cardiology, we witness first-hand the impact of heart disease on individuals and families. The £3,100 raised by the cardiology team will directly support the British Heart Foundation's life-saving research, education and patient support initiatives, advancing their mission to prevent heart disease and improve cardiovascular care across the UK. David added, "Supporting the British Heart Foundation's vital work aligns perfectly with our mission to promote heart health and prevent cardiovascular illnesses. We decided to do this as a group of colleagues and treat this as a team-building exercise to make our bond as a department tighter. which will evidently help our working relationships. It was a challenging day, but the full team were in great spirits throughout, and knowing people had donated their own money helped push us over the line. I would like to thank all who donated to the fundraiser for something that is really worthwhile cause and close to our hearts. You can find out more about the British Heart Foundation and how to support it at bhf.org.uk. And if you fancy the Kilt Walk, then find out more at thekiltwalk.co.uk. Read by Rebecca.
Teen is charged over frauds. An 18-year-old man has been arrested and charged following reports of frauds in Glasgow, East Renfrewshire and East Dunbartonshire. The frauds happened between April and May this year. The man was due to appear at Dumbarton Sheriff Court earlier this month. Sergeant John Robertson said, "We encourage members of the public to be mindful of activity which appears fraudulent and to report this to police. Officers will continue to work to bring those responsible for this kind of criminality to justice, and anyone with concern should call us on 101. Further advice on avoiding scams is available on our website scotland.police.uk/advice-and-information/scams-and-frauds. Anyone with any information on any crime is asked to contact police on 101. Information can also be left anonymously via Crime Stoppers on 0800 555 111.
Local autism charity shortlisted for award. An East Dunbartonshire organisation has been named as a finalist in the Community Impact category of this year's Scottish Charity Awards. Creatovators CIC, which specialises in helping support to those with autism, their families, professionals, companies and organisations, will go up against Feeling Strong, National Ugly Mugs, NUM, and Fairsand and Fountain SCIO as they vie for the award. Run annually by the Scottish Council for Voluntary Organisations, SCVO, the Scottish Charity Awards celebrate the best of Scotland's voluntary sector. Winners will be announced on the 20th of June 2024 in a celebratory award ceremony hosted by broadcaster Sally Magnuson at the Radisson Blu in Glasgow. Anna Fowley, Chief Executive, SCVO, said, "We're very excited to bring you the 2024 Scottish Charity Awards. It's been another record-breaking year with nearly 500 entries, so arriving at the 39 finalists has been really difficult. The finalists demonstrate just how essential the voluntary sector is to Scottish society, with dedicated organisations and individuals going above and beyond to make a positive and often life-changing impact in their communities. The public has the chance to celebrate each of our finalists through the People's Choice vote, which is now open, so don't miss your opportunity to get involved and get behind your favourite finalist by voting. I'd like to wish all our finalists the very best of luck." The remaining shortlist includes Campaign of the Year, The Yard Our Kids Won't Wait, Aberlour Children's Charity, Cancelling School Meal Debt, Amina Muslim Women's Resource Centre, Never Allowed, Diabetes Scotland, Diabetes Tech Can't Wait. Volunteer of the Year, Mary Osai Opong, African and Caribbean Elders in Scotland, Mary Hepburn, Fife Rape and Sexual Assault Centre, Lauren Bogue, Scottish Huntington's Association, David Christorfen, RNLI. Partnership of the Year, SOHTIS, Survivors of Human Trafficking in Scotland, and Simon Community Scotland, Edinburgh 2 Library, and LGBT Health and Wellbeing, Lark Holland District Volunteer Group, and Heart of Africa, Special Olympics Grampian Area, Special Olympics GB and Inclusive Skating, Employee of the Year, Vicky McGree and Ray, Asthma and Allergy Foundation, Amanda Fleet, Highlands and Islands Students Association, Janice Lee, Ardgowan Hospice, Kevin Radzinski, Grassmarket Community Project, Climate Impact, the Volunteers Tutor Organisation, Forth Rivers Trust, Revolve Recycle. Awards are also available in the Trustee of the Year, Digital Difference and Charity of the Year, turnover under £500,000 categories. Kids Design Gardens. Taylor Wimpey West Scotland has revealed 2 mini sustainable show home gardens which have been designed by 2 pupils from nearby Wallacewell Primary School in a recent competition. To inspire the visitors to its Monument Way development in Rob Royston to use their new gardens in environmentally friendly ways, the home builder challenged the children in Primary 5 to consider what features they thought would be important to include to create a nature-friendly garden. Audrey Ross, Sales and Marketing Director for Taylor Wimpey West Scotland, comments, "We are making our show home gardens more nature-friendly with the introduction of bug hotels and planting pollinator-friendly flowers, and it's been fantastic to get local children engaged with this project to get everyone thinking about wildlife, and we're delighted with the results." The children's drawings were thoughtful and colourful, and along with our local landscaping expert, we had great fun judging their designs. We were so impressed with the designs that we couldn't just choose one winner to influence our new show home gardens at Monument Way, so we picked 2. Our young designers were Bethany and Charlie, and as well as seeing their designs brought to life, they each won a gardening set, packed full of wildflower seeds, a bug hotel, bird feeders, as well as a mini herb garden to grow at home or in school. Laura Davidson, head teacher at Wallacewell Primary in Rob Royston, added, "Our Primary 5 children enjoyed their challenge to design a sustainable show home garden enormously, and we are thrilled with the designs that Bethany and Charlie created, which have been replicated by the team at Monument Way. This has been a very unusual learning experience for our children and a great opportunity for us to work together with Taylor Wimpey West Scotland. We're also excited that members of their team will be supporting our careers fair that will also give the older children in school the opportunity to learn more about the wide range of careers that the house building industry offers."
Licence for alcohol sales. The new operators of a petrol station, Bishopbriggs, have secured a provisional licence for the sale of alcohol. Motor Fuel Limited is taking over the station at Morrison Supermarket in South Cross Hill Road as part of a larger deal between the companies. As the licence held by Morrison's was temporary, Motor Fuel had advised that new application would have to be granted by East Dunbartonshire Licensing Board instead of it being transferred to the new operator. A company representative said that Motor Fuel would create new jobs as a result of the current Morrison's employees who work at the station transferring to the new, larger store, which is due to open in July. In addition to selling fuel, the petrol station also functions as a convenience store. Its off-sales hours are 10 a.m. until 10 p.m. daily, and the total area which may be used for this purpose is just over 21 square metres. The application also covered permission to make deliveries to customers.
Barnardo's Scotland plea, appealing for foster families. Scotland's leading children's charity has issued a plea for more people to consider becoming foster carers. The latest figures from the fostering network show that hundreds of children are in need of a place to call home. Some 500 foster families are needed to meet the demand. Martin Crew, Barnardo Scotland director, said, "Fostering in Scotland is in crisis as the numbers of people registered to foster continues to fall year on year. A shortage of foster carers leaves hundreds of children without a safe and loving home, and that is something we are keen to address. We strongly believe that any loving person can make a wonderful foster parent to a child in need. We offer support and training every step of the way, and, on average, fostering fees and an allowance of £495 per week per child is available. Carol Duffy, 59, from East Kilbride, became a foster carer for Bernardo's in 2009 and has loved the experience. She said, "When you are a foster carer, to see even the little things can make such a big difference. To see the children relax, to laugh and see their confidence grow is special, and it's all about making them the best they can be. I have been very lucky to maintain a relationship with all of my previous foster children." Carol, who has 5 birth children, 2 stepchildren and 9 grandchildren of her own, has fostered 10 children and provided respite for 30 more. She added, "I've always had great support and training from Bernardo's over the years, and, if I need them, there is always someone at the end of the phone. My advice to new carers is to remember that all children are individuals and different. They all come with their own circumstances. Much of the role of a foster carer is trial and error to see what works, but establishing routines and boundaries from day one helps them feel safe. It's important to have a good support network around you, so link in with your social worker and other carers for advice for them, just to be a sounding board. It's good to talk." Bernardo's in Scotland is committed to keeping the promise to care experienced young people and ensure every child in Scotland grows up safe, loved and respected. That is why the charity is calling on people to consider joining Bernardo's Scotland as a foster carer. Bernardo's has more than 80 years of experience of successfully placing children and young people with families, and there are many benefits to being a carer. Those looking to foster will be supported with a thorough child and care matching process, as well as out-of-hours advice and a support line provided by the social work team. There are support groups and social events to enable any carers to meet the team and other foster families. To find out more about fostering, visit www.bernardos.org.uk/foster. That's www.barnardos.org.uk/foster. Support children. All foster carers receive a daily allowance designed to cover the cost of caring for a foster child. This is intended to cover food, clothes, toys, pocket money, gifts, personal items, transport and other expenses incurred when looking after a child and or young person, including household costs. In the past year, Bernardo's provided essential support to more than 11,500 children, young people, parents and carers in Scotland through more than 150 specialised community-based services and partnerships across the country. For more information, visit www.barnardos.org.uk/foster or call 0800 0277 280 Monday to Friday from 9 AM to 5 PM.
Turn warm words into concrete action. The bosses of 2 of the UK's biggest energy companies have called for the introduction of social energy tariff to help low-income households who are struggling to pay the bills. Chris O'Shea, Chief Executive of British gas owners Centrica, and E.ON UK boss Chris Norbury have both given their backing to the proposal. Appearing in front of Westminster's Energy and Net Zero Committee, Chris O'Shea said he was in favour of progressively social tariff, while Chris Norbury pointed out that existing support for those struggling with bills does not go far enough. Their comments were welcomed by the Advice Direct Scotland, ADS, Scotland's National Advice Service, which has been campaigning for a UK-wide social energy tariff. The charity has argued that an opt-out scheme, which would automatically put struggling households on the cheapest energy deal, is the only way to effectively end fuel poverty. This policy could be targeted at those most in need, with eligibility being determined by whether members of households are in receipt of benefits or are on low incomes. A poll published earlier this year showed there is widespread public support in Scotland for the policy, with 2/3, 66%, of those questions in favour of introducing the scheme. Andrew Bartlett, Advice Director Scotland's Chief Executive, said, "It is heartening that there is a strong support among the big suppliers for a social energy tariff, which we believe is the best way of fixing the UK's broken energy market. In the wake of a winter which has once again seen millions of people struggling to afford to heat their homes, we would like to see these warm words translated into concrete action. It is time for the UK government to get around the table with energy suppliers and work out a policy that could be in place before temperatures start to fall again." The energy crisis is far from over, with households from across the UK up record levels of debt and still facing much higher costs for gas and electricity than a few years ago. Among those who would benefit from social energy tariff are people with illnesses and disabilities who rely on life-saving electrical equipment to stay alive.
"23-minute call wait. Customers cumulatively spent 798 years on hold, waiting to speak with HM Revenue and Customs, HMRC, in 2022 to 23, more than double the time spent waiting in 2019 to 20. According to a National Audit Office report, the average wait time for customers was nearly 23 minutes in the first 11 months of 2023 to 24, up from 5 minutes in 2018 to 19. HMRC's strategy is to encourage customers to turn to its digital services first, so that queries can be resolved easily online. This is intended to cut costs servicing telephone calls and correspondence, as well as free up staff to serve people who need extra support. However, the digital service has not eased pressure on traditional services. Gareth Davis, head of the NAO, said HMRC's telephone and correspondence services have been below its target service levels for too long.
Plastic bottles top poll of litter in waterways. The first national volunteer survey of litter found by Scottish rivers and waterways has revealed that plastic bottles were the most littered item. Plastic pieces, plastic snack packets, drinks cans and polystyrene pieces filled out the top 5. With 80% of marine litter coming from land, Keep Scotland Beautiful's Upstream Battle campaign focuses on raising awareness, gathering evidence, and inspiring action to prevent marine litter at source along rivers in Scotland. The recently published Upstream Battle Citizen Science Report, a snapshot of data gathered by volunteers across a 3-month period between December 2023 and February 2024, consists of 185 surveys conducted along 26 rivers and waterways in 20 local authority areas across Scotland. It forms part of the national rollout of the campaign, aimed at understanding and addressing marine litter across the country. In total, 20,383 items were counted during the survey, with the majority of litter found to be items which would be addressed under a deposit return scheme or extended producer responsibility regulations. The rest of the top 10 items found included cigarettes, glass fragments, dog poo, plastic bottle caps and plastic bags. Barry Fisher, KSB Chief Executive, said, "On the back of an extremely successful spring clean, this report celebrates the efforts of many individuals and groups who took time out of their busy lives to carry out surveys and send data to us, providing us with much needed evidence of the range of items that are damaging our rivers and waterways. The data shows similarities across the country, but also highlights regional nuances. This report highlights the importance of understanding and addressing these issues at a national and local level. I'd like to thank everyone who supported this data drive, from our volunteers to our partners and funders who shared our message. Scotland's litter emergency is damaging our rivers. We need our governments to commit to tackling single-use packaging litter through EPR regulations and to ensure a deposit return scheme is not further delayed. These policy measures are needed now.
Family announcements. Deaths: Hopkins, John, Jackie. Peacefully surrounded by his family at the Queen Elizabeth University Hospital on Friday, May 10th, 2024. John (Jackie), aged 92. Beloved husband of the late Betty, much loved father, papa and great-grandfather. Will be sorely missed by all those who loved him. Funeral service will take place on Thursday, May 23rd, 2024 at Lenzie Union Parish Church at 10:30 a.m. Thereafter to Old Isle Cemetery, arriving at 11:30 a.m.
Take a leaf from others' book and host Open Day. Linking Environment and Farming is working alongside NFU Scotland and Scottish Agri-Tourism to encourage and support more farmers and crofters to showcase the Scottish farming this June. Now in its 18th year, the industry's annual Open Farm Sunday provides an opportunity for every farmer and crofter to put their stories centre stage, promote a positive image of the industry, and inspire the next generation. The official date is Sunday, June the 9th. However, events can take place any weekend in June. Annabelle Shackleton, OFS manager, said, "It's a misconception you need a blockbuster budget and an army of volunteers to host an event. That's not the case. There is scope to develop an Open Farm Sunday format that works for you and allows you to build your confidence by starting small. We'd really like to encourage more farmers and crofters in Scotland to dip their toes in the water. Putting on community-focused farm walks for smaller groups gives you a chance to trial Open Farm Sunday in a way that's manageable and fun for all. The first step is to register an event at www.farmsunday.org. The organiser will be sent a copy of the Open Farm Sunday Handbook, which provides practical guidance on hosting different types of events. A host of free resources, produced by Leaf and OFS sponsors, can then be ordered, including posters, signage, gate banners, activity booklets and giveaways. Laura Patterson, Scottish Agri-Tourism Brand Engagement Chief, said, "Whether it is a farm shop, holiday let, paw park, orchard, cycle trail or gin distillery, these agri-tourism businesses are all located on farm. They bring with them that unique experience that allows visitors to appreciate firsthand the work that goes on by our farmers, to look after the countryside, grow our food, and create memories that will last a lifetime." LEAF research shows that 62% of last year's Open Farm Sunday visitors reported they wanted to hear more farming stories. To find out more about putting on an OFS event, the support available, and how to register, visit www.farmsunday.org. The Kirkintilloch and Bishopbriggs Herald letters page, date Wednesday, May the 22nd, 2024. Let's talk. Please send your letters via email to kirkyherald@jnscotland.co.uk. That's KIRKYHERALD@JNScotland.co.uk, and write letters in the subject field. Please keep letters to a maximum of 300 words. Letters cannot be published without a name and postal address. Also include a daytime phone number if possible. We reserve the right to edit any letter. Switching MPs should resign. Sir, A popular phrase about footballers is that the club they always loved and wanted to play for is the next one that they signed to play for. That phrase now easily translates to MPs who change political parties for theatrics rather than substance, but retain their seats. There is no legal, only a moral obligation, which very few accept, to resign and put themselves up for re-election in a by-election, having been elected on a different ticket. That sadly is the standard today of our politicians. Yours, etc., R. Hunter, by email. Vote for coalitions. Sir, although I'd much prefer our MPs were chosen via sortition instead of election, I agree the current use of PR has proved a disaster in giving power to a party none of whose candidates were personally popularly elected. However, the only valid form of PR is where parliamentary seats are allocated in proportion to a party's share of the vote, and MPs are allocated a constituency to mind during their tenure of office. Most subsequent governments would probably be coalitions, but I like the idea that our politicians would then be obliged to grow up and collaborate rather than quarrel. Yours, etc., Tim Flynn, by email. Will of the people. Sir, the courts and legal profession in our country has subverted the wishes of the population to stop illegal migrants. Reminds me of the officer of the watch on one of HM ships. He bellowed down the voice pipe to the helmsman to steer 15 degrees to port. The helmsman recognised the error, which should have driven us onto the rocks, so he steered to starboard. At the end of the watch, the helmsman was severely admonished for disobeying an order. The judiciary are making fools of themselves by mercilessly failing to understand that ignoring the will of the people can lead to revolution, and none of us want to be driven onto that rock. So it's time the judiciary noticed the smell of bitterness in the air and used their common sense instead of strictly interpreting legal minutiae. Yours, etc., Stan Hogarth, by email. Free by when? Sir, one of the new First Minister's first projections after taking office was that the breakup of the UK could be achieved within 5 years. Is this a sign of things to come? I thought the faithful would have tired of preposterous predictions after all these years in which none, not one, has materialised. I can remember clearly the 3 by 93 line of our 30 plus years ago. Around the same time as this ultra-optimistic claim was made, the latest set of authoritative polls were issued showing the number of nationalist MPs by the end of this year, post-election, to be a mere fraction of what they are today. Carrying this projection forward for 5 years, there is likely to be at best a handful of the die-hard nationalists left in Holyrood and Westminster. Could not one of his SPAD army have advised him that this was definitely not the time for bold fantasy predictions? Yours, etc., Alexander Mackay, by email. Trade sanctions. Sir, while I oppose President Recep Tayyip Erdogan's repression of the Turkish and Kurdish people, I applaud the decision to stop trading with Israel because of the mass murder of the Palestine people. A few $1 million or dollars of trade might not, of itself, make a huge difference to Israel, given the billions of dollars of support from the United States, but it is an example of what is possible. If other countries followed this example, it would soon be a significant consideration for the Israeli government, especially if it included the supply of bombs, bombers, guns and munitions, and the purchase of weapons and other goods produced in Israel and the occupied territories. Yours, etc., Norman Lockhart, by email. Verified news. Sir, with Ukrainian troops struggling to contain the Russian advance on Kharkiv, BBC News finally concedes the war in Ukraine is not going swimmingly after all. Whatever happened to the much vaunted facts-checking service BBC Verify with Ross Atkins? The incessant drip of American news and propaganda since the merger of BBC News and BBC World News in April last year has seldom been more apparent. Yours, etc., John V. Lloyd, by email. Are you up to scale a Munro? Avid adventurers across Scotland are being invited to participate in an ambitious and worthy fundraising feat. The Royal Highland and Agricultural Society of Scotland is inviting people to take part in its Munro Challenge on September 21st. It will see a group of no less than 600 individuals split into teams of 2 or more, collectively ascending all 282 Munros within the same 24-hour window. To succeed, each team is required to reach the summit of their selected Munro and return safely back down before the 24 hours is up. Participants will be raising money for RHASS funded projects aimed at those living and working in rural Scotland, safeguarding the rights of landowners and preserving access to Scotland's breathtaking landscapes. The challenge is part of the Society's 240th anniversary year. Other activities include a year-long audio and visual storytelling project, 240 years of stories, to contribute towards the legacy of Scotland's agricultural and rural community. A series of Harvest Thanksgiving services will also take place later this year. RHASS will work with a range of partners to support participants in the run-up to the event, providing safety advice, training programmes and guidance to ensure everyone is well equipped to take on the challenge. Various resources will also be provided to support participants in their efforts. In order to make sure all Munros are covered, applicants will be entered into a ballot, choosing their desired area and level of difficulty on entry. They will be assigned either their first or second choice of locations and a Munro suitable to their abilities. People of all skill levels are encouraged to take part in what will be an exhilarating team challenge. Alistair Caulfield, RHASS Advancement Director, said, "The collective effort involved in this challenge will not only be a testament to community spirit, but it will also be a wonderful celebration of Scotland's rich rural heritage. We are aiming to sign up at least 600 participants to ensure that no one faces the ascent alone. The logistics in that alone will be no easy feat. You can sign up online now at www.rhass.org.uk.
Peak Rail Fares pilot has been extended. The ScotRail Peak Fares removal pilot will now run until the end of September 2024. During the newly extended period, all off-peak fares and products that are set and controlled by ScotRail will be valid for travel all day. First Minister John Swinney said, "By extending this pilot for 3 months, we can better understand its impacts in terms of encouraging people to choose rail. It also helps tackle inequalities by making commuting, day trips and access to leisure activities even more affordable for all. I would encourage passengers to use this opportunity, not just for the daily commute, but to see all that Scotland has to offer." Joanne Maguire, ScotRail Managing Director, added, "The removal of peak fares trial has been a hugely exciting opportunity for Scotland's railway to encourage more people across the country to choose rail travel."
Hi, good day to you. My name's Philip and I'm reading the church news under the district news of the Kirkintilloch Herald. And hopefully you didn't miss me last week when I was away working in Greece on a church project. So, first of all, today in Kirkintilloch we have Home Church, which is in Lamanure Road. Home Church. We also have a Home Church in the East End in Carmyle, a sister church, and it's a church for all ages. In his great mercy, he has given us new birth into a living hope through the resurrection of Jesus Christ. That's in 1 Peter. On Sunday, May the 26th at 9:30 and 11:30am, worship service followed by refreshments. A warm welcome awaits you at either service, which will be identical. Chosen Sunday school at both services, and there's a baptism at 6:30 in Home Church Carmyle. 10 a.m. and 6:30 p.m. are the times of the church services there. And then on Tuesdays, they have the series continuing of the engine room at 9:30 a.m. for biblical teaching. Bible study on Zoom at 2:30 p.m. Wednesdays, prayer meeting at Carmyle, 10:15 a.m. and group studies, now called Boiler Room, in church at 7:15 p.m, except the last Wednesday in the month, which will be a prayer meeting. Thursdays, there's football. Fridays, there's a craft and coffee, 10 a.m. to noon. Youth group meets at 7:30 p.m, prayer meeting, except last Friday of the month. Home radio is available every day. See Facebook, Instagram and Home Church website for the latest information for Carmyle and Kirkintilloch. And if you check out the home radio station online or in FM, on a Monday night between 8 and 9, you'll hear my dulcet tones as I present a programme about what God is doing across the world through Christians. Then we move to Springfield Cambridge Church. Morning worship on Sunday, May the 26th, will be conducted by the minister, Ian Taylor, in the sanctuary at 11 a.m. An offering will be taken during the service. Please place your offering in the offering place as they are passed around the congregation. Tea and coffee will be served in the Cameron Hall after morning worship. Come and enjoy the fellowship. Sunday school meets in room 2, where creche facilities are also available. Morning worship is also being live streamed on Springfield Cambridge YouTube channel. A link to this can be found on the Springfield Cambridge Church website, springfieldcambridge.org.uk, and on Facebook page, where up-to-date information about events and church organisations can also be found. There will be no vestry hour on Wednesday, May the 22nd, and from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. for anyone who would like to speak with the minister. And as the minister will be attending the General Assembly in Edinburgh, there will be no short weekly service of worship in Springfield Chapel on Wednesday, May the 22nd, from 11:10 to 11:30, followed by tea and coffee in the Hall of Fellowship. I don't think there's going to be a meeting between 11:10 and 11:30 if the minister's away, so maybe that's a correction that should have been made. And the Guild is also inviting the congregation to join them in supporting the East Dumbartonshire Food Bank warehouse by bringing donations and leaving them in the cupboard in the cloakroom. A list is attached to the cupboard identifying specific items especially requested. Holy Communion will be celebrated on Sunday, June the 2nd at 11 a.m. And now we move to Kirkintilloch Church of God at Regent Hall, Regent Street, next to the next family praise service is on Sunday, June the 2nd at 4 p.m. This will feature our praise band. Video presentations and guest speaker will be Colin Brooks from Wishaw. Refreshments will be served after the service. A warm welcome to all who are able to join us. On Wednesday, their coffee corner is open from noon till 2 p.m. for home baking and coffee. Join our friends and neighbours for a chat over a coffee. Or a cup of tea, I'm sure, because I was there a couple of weeks ago and had a wee cup of tea and some home baking. And for up-to-date and further information on our services, visit the website, regenthall.org. Jesus said, "Now is the eternal life, that they may know you, the only true God, and Jesus Christ, whom you have sent." And that's in John 17. Now in Bishopbriggs, we move to Hilton Church, Bishopbriggs, where the minister, Paul Watson, will take the service. There is a communion service in the chapel on Thursday, May the 23rd at 11 a.m. and then on Sunday at 9 a.m. So there you have it. Wow. May the 22nd at 10:30 a.m. communion service with hymns on Sunday is in the church. A great place to sing hymns in the church. Pre-service prayers for 10 a.m. to 10:15 from May the 5th to June the 30th in the St Andrew's Chapel. This will be to commit the service to God and to pray for the needs of the community. Everyone is welcome to come along to any of these services. Do stay for tea, coffee and fellowship afterwards. There are also other virtual services and groups. For up-to-date information, refer to their social media. Facebook, St James LS, Bishopbriggs. Website, stjamesbishopbriggs.org.uk. Now, staying in Bishopbriggs, Kenmure Parish Church. This Sunday, our morning worship will be led by Grant Bartley Clapp to the presbytery. The service starts at the usual time of 11 a.m. and everyone is welcome to join us both in church and on our YouTube channel. The service on YouTube can be watched as live as it is streamed or later at a time that suits you. You can find your channel by simply searching for Kenmure Bishopbriggs on YouTube. Teas and coffees and a time of fellowship follows the end of the service. The most up-to-date details of all our groups that are currently running may be found on the WhatsApp section of their website, kenmure-church.co.uk. To find them on Facebook, just search for Kenmure Parish Church. And if you'd like to join their WhatsApp group or receive Bible studies, then email them kenmurechurch@icloud.com. Now to Milton of Campsie. And thanks to all who celebrate the Kingdom Come and Pentecost by walking the walk on our labyrinth, praising God at our ecumenical event in Battlefield Park. We continue on the theme of the Lord's Prayer at our house groups, which meets this week all in Josiah Spears, Monday at 7 p.m, Tuesday at 7 p.m, and Wednesday at 2 p.m. Connect Cafe is on Tuesday morning. Time to Pray is on Wednesday evening at 7 p.m, followed by Go Mad, which I believe is a youth event, on Wednesday. Workhouse at 7:45 p.m. Thanks to all who supported Christian Aid by delivering envelopes and giving so generously. Once it's all been counted, we'll let you know how much was raised. The village has raised, yes, they'll find out how much the village has raised. 4 members of the congregation, Phyllis, Margaret, Tom, are doing the 70k in the month of May challenge for Christian Aid. You can donate online by visiting our Facebook page or see the sponsor form at the church. Don't forget the Anderson Singers, Director of Music, our own Phyllis Strachan, concert in the church for Christian Aid on Thursday, May the 22nd at 7 p.m. Tickets are £10, which cover a printed programme and lots of home baking, tea, coffee, etc. Preparations are now being made for the SU camp at Gowan Bank during the first week of school holidays and Go Mad beginning on July the 28th. Can you help with prayer, accommodation, finance, hands-on? Before that, there will be Go Mad Extra, Frutarama it's called this year, on Sunday, June 9th from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. Jot form for registration is now online. Now, back to Kirkie. St Mary's Parish Church, the service on Sunday, May the 26th will begin at 11 a.m. as usual and be taken by the Reverend Ruth Morrison. There will be age-appropriate activities for our young people in the church halls during the service. On May the 22nd, Wednesday, welcome will take place when tea, coffee and home baking will be available from 10 till 11:30 a.m. A short service taken by the minister will take place at 11:30 a.m. On Wednesday, June the 5th, our next open doors will take place. The church will be open from 10:30 until 3:30 p.m. Tea and coffee will be available all day. From 12:30 there will be a music recital when Sally McClellan will be playing a selection of jazzy hymns. Tea and coffee will continue to be available during this time, and bring your very own lunch if you wish, that is. And now we move to another page here and to Bishopbriggs again. It's Cawdor Parish Church beside the canal. For full details, see their website, cawdorchurch.org. We look forward to welcoming you this coming Sunday to our morning service. The service will be led by the Reverend John McGregor, the minister of the church, and our probationer minister, Chris Gordon. Music is led by Javier Jose. And Cawdor Kids Creche meet at the church at the start of the service, and then in the North Hall. All are welcome. The services are videoed and recorded and are available from the church website. Tea and coffee served after the service. Food bank, if you wish to donate to the local food bank, you can bring your donations of food to the church or the coffee shop. Early fellowship meets in person in the South Hall Chapel at 9:30 a.m. on Tuesday and Thursday, and also on Zoom. Messy church play meets on Tuesday and Thursdays in the South Hall at 10:30 to 11:30. Cawdor, I keep calling it Cawdor, but it's not, it's Cawdor. Cawdor Chat and Play meets on Saturday, May the 4th from 10 till noon. A fun time for families to come together and chat and play in the Cawdor South Hall. And then the Cawdor Coffee Shop is open on Tuesday to Thursday, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. and a Friday from 10 a.m. till noon. You will be made very welcome. Torrens Parish Church, the morning service in person at 10:30am, conducted by Stuart Irvin, the minister. During the service, the youngsters meet together in Crest Junior Church and Frog, which I believe is the mythical title of youth work there in the church. Check out the church website, torrensparishchurch.org, online.church. The cafe is open every Wednesday 9 till noon for teas, coffees and delicious home baking. Why not come and taste for yourself? The Boys Brigade meet on Thursday 7 till 9pm, P7 to S6. To find out about our regular weekly activities, check out the website. What's on at tpc.org.uk. And then back to Bishopbriggs. Colston Well Park Church. Colston Well Park is open to all, so please feel free to join us along for worship this Sunday at 11am, led by our minister. Whether you come for a change or first time, a warm welcome will be guaranteed with tea and coffee being served in the hall after the service. The Art Club continues this Monday from 10am till 1pm, and if interested in displaying your artistic talents, pop in for a chat and a coffee or speak with Ramsey for more information. This Wednesday, the Colston Tea Break, our community drop-in, continues from 11 till 12:30. And all who enjoy good food, good conversation and good company will be very welcome. Oh, and it's free. St Columba's Men's Club in Kirkintilloch meets in the halls of St Columba's Church in the Old Isle Road, and it is not necessary to be a church member to join. The club, which has been in existence for many years, provide a chance for men to spend a Monday evening in a very relaxed company and participate in activities such as pool, snooker, carpet bowls, darts, table tennis and dominoes, or simply to sit and chat. Members come not only from Kirkintilloch, but from Lenzie, Cumbernauld, Milton-Campsie and Bearsden. All men are being made very welcome. So you have it. That's the church news for this week. And you'll notice that there was none from Lenzie, the Union Church or the Old Parish Church. Don't know why. Maybe next week there'll be church news from them. So if you know of things that are happening in your church or in a different area, then contact the Kirky Herald and let them know to write it down in the paper and I will read it to you. Thank you again for listening to the church news, and if you have any other points of view or any comments, then contact Q and Review or the Kirky Herald, and I'd love to include any of your comments in the church news next week or the week after. So God bless you, have a good week, and speak to you again next week.
Wednesday the 22nd of May, District News General. MSP calls for action. John Swinney must clarify his policies, by Ross Greer MSP. The Scottish Greens' focus in government was to deliver for people and planet. Our programme of action tackled the climate crisis, built a fairer, more equal country, and made the case for Scotland's future in the world stage as an independent nation. Our support for an SNP First Minister and our government was conditional on that shared vision. That was the foundation the Butte House Agreement was built on, but that agreement is now over. We have much to be proud of from our time in government, and we can be confident that Scotland is now a fairer, greener place than it was before. We lifted 90,000 children out of poverty in a single year, delivered free bus travel for under 22s, removed peak rail fares, introduced an emergency rent freeze and eviction ban during the cost of living crises, cancelled the school meal debt and much more. Climate action, tackling child poverty and protecting the vulnerable remain the priorities of the Scottish Greens, and we will resist any attempt by the new SNP minority government to water them down. The heat and building strategy introduced by Green ministers, highlighted by the Climate Change Committee as the gold standard to which other UK governments should be working, was transforming the way we heat our homes, driving down carbon emissions as well as energy bills. The critical next phase of that work, a new heat and buildings law, was to be brought forward later this year. I hope SNP ministers will follow through on that. The new First Minister must lay out whether his government will continue with the progressive policies Greens were working on and delivering, or rely on the Conservatives and other less progressive parties to form majorities in Parliament. We will continue to use our influential role in Parliament to deliver on them, to build a Scotland where everyone is free to be themselves and where climate action is a top priority. It is what future generations deserve and need. Scotland deserves a government willing to cooperate with others in Parliament for the sake of our country and the planet. You can't rip up the progressive policy Scotland has long cried out for and expect business to continue as usual though. So, John Swinney must urgently clarify where he and his government really stand. Firefighters take 600-mile challenge. A team of firefighters and fire support staff is embarking on a gruelling physical cycling challenge spanning 600 miles to support the mental well-being of colleagues. The group, made up of both current and retired Scottish Fire and Rescue Service crews and staff, will join the adventure across the east of Scotland and bring an important mission to raise funds for the Firefighters Charity and survivors of bereavement by suicide. 15 cyclists, who set off from Tyndrum Community Fire Station in Stirlingshire on Monday, May the 20th. They will be pedalling past 65 community fire stations, covering an impressive average of 100 miles per day, before finally arriving at the Edinburgh Castle, Sunday, May 26th. This brave challenge aims to raise awareness of the vital work of two remarkable charities that offer support to those dealing with the aftermath of a devastating loss and recognise the tireless commitment of firefighters in Scotland. The team has set up a Just Giving page, and people can keep up with the team's journey on X and Facebook. If you or someone you know served in the fire service and need help, contact the Firefighters Charity Support Line on 0300 373 0896. District News. If you would like to highlight your club's activities and meetings, please get in touch at this email address: kirkyherald@jnscotland.co.uk. That's KIRKYHERALD JNSCOTLAND.co.uk.
Loving Lenny needs a new home. Lenny is a 7-year-old Shih Tzu cross with a heart full of love, though he may take some time to warm up to new faces. Once he trusts you, he'll happily become your best friend. He needs a calm, adult-only home where he can be the sole pet. If you're looking for a playful companion, Lenny might be your perfect match. He thrives in a serene environment and prefers area where he's unlikely to encounter other dogs during his walks. He's cautious around strangers, but with patience and time, he'll come to trust and adore you. Could you give Lenny a loving home he's been waiting for? Contact us on 01506 873 459. You can also follow us on Twitter at DT-West Calder and Instagram at Dog Trust West Calder.
Pour Your Heart Out Tea Party. Dogs Trust West Calder are hosting a special afternoon tea party to encourage kind-hearted dog lovers to open their heart and homes to foster dogs with training needs or in need of a quiet home life. The event is on Saturday, May 25th from 1pm to 3pm at the West Calder Rehoming Centre. Named Pour Your Heart Out, Mika Sinforiani, the trainer for foster dogs, will be on hand to spill the tea on all things training and fostering alongside some lovely tea and cakes. The centre is around 10 dogs who would benefit from some home life training. If you are interested in fostering, come along on the day or get in touch on 01506 873 459 or email us at hfhwestcalder@dogstrust.org.uk. That's hfhwestcalder@dogstrust.org.uk.
Planning notices. Eastern Bartonshire Council Public Notices. The Eastern Bartonshire Council, A807 Torrance Road, Torrance. Temporary Prohibition of Right Turns. Order 2024. On the 21st of May 2024, the Eastern Bartonshire Council made the above named order under Section 16 (a) of the Road Traffic Regulation Act 1984 as amended, to be observed by vehicles from 7 a.m. until 9 p.m. on Saturday, the 1st of June 2024, for reasons of public safety and convenience. Prohibition of right turns. 1. From the A807 Torrance Road, Torrance, into the private access to field at Bogton Farm, Torrance. Alternative route. Vehicles travelling on the A807 Torrance Road which cannot turn right into the access to the field at Bogton Farm should proceed north-westwards on the A807 Torrance Road, then proceed in a clockwise direction around Kelvin Bridge roundabout, then turn left onto the A807 Torrance Road, then proceed south-eastwards on the A807 Torrance Road, then turn left into the access to the field at Bogton Farm. From the private access to field at Bogton Farm, Torrance, onto the A807 Torrance Road, Torrance. Alternative route. Vehicles leaving the access to the field at Bogton Farm, Torrance, should turn left onto the A807 Torrance Road, then proceed south-eastwards on the A807 Torrance Road, then proceed in a clockwise direction around Torrance roundabout, then turn left onto the A807 Torrance Road, then proceed northwards on the A807 Torrance Road. Karen Donnelly, Chief Solicitor and Monitoring Officer, 12 Strathkelvin Place, Kirkintilloch, G66 1TJ. The Eastern Bartonshire Council, A807 Torrance Road, Torrance. Temporary no waiting at any time restrictions and 30 mph speed limit. Order 2024. On the 21st of May 2024, the Eastern Bartonshire Council made the above named order under Section 16 (a) of the Road Traffic Regulation Act 1984 as amended, to be observed by vehicles from 7 a.m. until 9 p.m. on Saturday, the 1st of June 2024, for reasons of public safety and convenience. No waiting at any time restrictions. The above named order makes it unlawful for any person to cause or permit any motor vehicle to wait at any time on either side of the A807 Torrance Road, Torrance, between its junctions with Torrance Roundabout and Kelvin Bridge Roundabout. 30 mph speed limit. The above-named order makes it unlawful for any person to cause or permit to be driven any motor vehicle at a speed exceeding 30 mph on the A807 Torrance Road, Torrance, between its junctions with Torrance Roundabout and Kelvin Bridge Roundabout. Karen Donnelly, Chief Solicitor and Monitoring Officer, 12 Strathkelvin Place, Kirkintilloch, G66 1TJ. Civic Government (Scotland Act 1982. Application for grant of a second-hand dealer licence. The undernoted has applied for the grant of a second-hand dealer licence in terms of the above Act. Name and address of applicant: Kirky Tyre Centre, 21C Lead Gate, East Side, Kirkintilloch. Day-to-day manager: Stephen Weir, 57 Karen Court, Cambus Lang. G727YA. Premises: Kirky Tire Centre, 21C Lead Gate, East Side, Kirkintilloch, G66 1PZ. Hours of business: Monday to Sunday, 8:30 a.m. until 5:30 p.m. Goods: part-worn tyres. Any objections or representations in terms of paragraph 3, brackets 1 of Schedule 1 of the Act should be logged with the undernoted no later than 28 days from the publication date of the newspaper in which this advertisement appears. Chief Solicitor and Monitoring Officer, Legal and Regulatory Services, East Dunbartonshire Council, 12 Strathkelvin Place, Kirkintilloch, G66 1TJ. Rob Roy aiming to lift the cup. This article was written by Brian Yule and is being read by me, Corey. Kirkintilloch Rob Roy boss Danny Ferry is hoping his side's reputation as a good cup team allows them to pick up some silverware on Saturday. Rob Roy will look to shake off the disappointment of being relegated from the WOS Premier League when they take on East Kilbride in the final of the South Challenge Cup. Ferry, who took over from Kevin McGoldrick in October, is under no illusions as to the scale of the task awaiting them at Broadwood Stadium as they face the Lowland League champions. The former Queen's Park player said, "When I took over, we had plenty of time to get ourselves out of trouble, but we could just never seem to put the results together. However, at the same time, we turned it into a really good cup team, and beat the likes of Cumbernauld Colts, Beath Juniors and Pollock on our run to the final. I think there is plenty of talent in the team. The main problem is they are young, and that lack of experience probably led to inconsistency across the season. We also had wins over Darvel and Ben Burb, so on our day we are a match for anyone. I just hope Saturday will be our day. East Kilbride are a really good side. You don't win the Lowland League by accident. But I am hoping that after their exertions in the playoffs against Stranraer, they are already on a beach in Ibiza." Ferry is hoping that relegation to the First Division will prove beneficial for the club in the long term. He said, "We have been in the Premier Division for a long time, and obviously it is never ideal to be relegated. However, with the likes of Drumchapel United and Johnston Borough coming up, it will be an even tougher league, so it is perhaps not the worst thing to have the chance to regroup. It won't be easy to come straight back. None of the sides who went down last season managed it. But with the boys getting more experience under their belts, it will certainly be the aim." That article was written by Brian Yule, and it was read by me, Corey. Jenna on top of the world to win title. This article was written by Brian Yule and is being read by me, Corey. Jenna Ross from Kirkintilloch is the first Scottish woman to become a world champion in Muay Thai. This historic moment took place as the headliner on the Power of Scotland's 35th event at the Lagoon Leisure Centre in Paisley. Ross beat Alina Purigini from Sweden by unanimous decision to lift the vacant WBC Muay Thai World Flyweight Championship. She said, "I am still pinching myself. I feel truly blessed and grateful to say I am now WBC World Flyweight Champion. I'd like to thank my mum and dad for raising me to be a determined, independent and ambitious person, because without that, I wouldn't have ever set foot in a Muay Thai gym. My Muay Thai career has been a roller coaster since I started in 2013, working multiple jobs to fund training, at college for 2 years, university for 5, and now I'm in a big girl corporate job. but the one thing that has always stayed consistent through the years is my training and hunger to succeed. I have sacrificed so much temporary pleasure to be where I am now, and my heart is so full, knowing that I have stuck through all the ups and downs in life to reach my goals. Thank you to anyone who has given me advice throughout my career, including my first ever coach, Scott Russell, for seeing the potential in me from the start, and my current coach, Gary O'Brien. I struggle consolidating everything I want to thank Gary for, but he's been my therapist, coach, backbone, friend, sensei, guru, and spirit guide. Everything a fighter wants in their corner. I would also like to thank all my friends, loved ones, colleagues, and representatives of the Scottish Centre for Personal Safety for coming along to support me. Finally, thank you to my opponent, Elenia Purigini, for travelling all the way from Switzerland for the fight. I knew not to underestimate Elenia, as she had fought some big names and gave them a tough fight. I am honoured to have shared the ring with her. I don't know what's next for me, but I know I am not yet satisfied, and I'm excited to get the next fight lined up already. I really hope this World Championship win will be inspiring to females and children who use the Scottish Centre for Personal Safety's services. That article was written by Brian Yule and read by me, Corey. Carly on target as City end with wins. This article is unattributed, but it's being read by me, Corey. American midfielder Carly Giamona scored 3 goals in 2 games as Glasgow City ended the SWPL 1 season with back-to-back wins. While Rangers and Celtic battled it out for the title, with the latter ultimately winning it on goal difference, the Springburn side already knew their chances of retaining the crown had gone. Giamona grabbed a double in midweek as City won 2-0 away to Partick Thistle in the Petershill Park Derby. City took the lead after 52 minutes as Kinga Kozak found Giamona at the edge of the box, and she fired the ball into the back of the net. The win was then secured 5 minutes from time as Giamona got her head on a Corey Sullivan corner for her second of the match. Giamona was on the scoresheet again as City rounded off the campaign on Sunday with another 2-0 win, this time at home to Hearts. Both goals would arrive very early as City went in front after 2 minutes with the Kozak-Giamona combination once again to the fore. Kozak drove at the defence and played a through ball for Giamona to prod past the on-rushing keeper Charlotte Parker-Smith. The second would arrive 4 minutes later when a Mayrid Fulton cross was met by Charlotte Wardlaw to score a looping header. City end the season in 3rd place on 73 points, having suffered 2 more defeats than last year's title-winning campaign, to end up some 9 points behind the top 2. They will return to action when the new season starts on August 11th, with the fixtures being announced at the end of next month. That article was unattributed, but it was being read by me, Corey. Tigers rider Compline is handed a 20-month ban. This article is unattributed, but it's being read by me, Corey. Glasgow Tigers rider Lee Compline has been handed a 20-month ban from the sport. The Speedway Control Bureau held a disciplinary hearing last month after the 39-year-old was accused of breaching anti-doping regulations. Compline joined the Asheville club in 2023 from Plymouth Gladiators and helped them win the SGB Championship. He got in trouble after giving a test following the Tigers' season opener in the BSN series away to Berwick Bandits last month. The former Berwick rider was handed an immediate 30-day ban while awaiting the hearing to be held, meaning Tigers had to use guest riders. Compline pleaded not guilty to 2 charges during the hearing in Rugby. However, the panel found against him. It suspended both his ACU licence and SCB registration for a period of 20 months, and ordered him to pay £2,000 costs over that time. Compline can apply for his licence and registration prior to the 2026 season, but will need to produce a segmented hair test for a period of 3 months at his own expense. A statement on the Tigers website said, Glasgow Speedway has noted the findings of the Speedway Control Board disciplinary hearing for Lee Compline. The club would like to thank Lee for his outstanding service for the 2023 season. The club will announce further details on the team in due course. That article was unattributed, but it was being read by me, Corey.
That concludes this week's edition of the Kirkintilloch Herald podcast. Please remember to subscribe to our channels at Tune Review and to tell your friends about our service.